Hey, happy Friday. Happy Digest Day. Megan Schultz here, host of Cream City Dreams podcast on Wednesdays and these small, bite-sized Cream City Digests on Fridays. I hope you're digging this season of joy, listening to all the women who are bringing joy to our city. And you know what's bringing me joy is this detox I'm on, this social media detox in the month of June. And I thought that maybe sharing my experience with this might inspire some of you to pay attention to your attention, where you put it, who you give it to, and really being more intentional about living in the present. And isn't that really what we're all just trying to do? Hey, happy Friday. If you are listening on Friday, there's a good chance that I'll be walking in the forest with my friend Megan, who is a forest therapy guide. And I'm so grateful for the listeners who signed up to join me. We have a wonderful group of women walking through the woods, and I'm excited to learn more about this. I'll share the experience and what it was like next week. And if you want to organize a forest walk, a guided forest walk, I will put Megan's info in the show notes. And if you're like, what is Megan talking about? Then you're not on my newsletter. So head over to creamcitydreams.com and sign up for the newsletter. That is where I send announcements to events that I'm hosting and other cool things around town, particularly if they involve previous Cream City Dreams guests. Today, I am very excited to welcome a very special guest. She's giggling as I'm looking at her. I am talking about my daughter.
Hi, guys.
I thought it would be interesting, as I think I've been mentioning on these Friday Digests and the social media detox I've been on, that my kids are a part of it, and or not a part of it, but they are certainly aware that this is something that I'm doing. And I think I mentioned last week that there is nothing more triggering than a child saying, "Mom, put down your phone." And so I thought it would be interesting just to bring one of my kids on to talk about their perspective of phones and screens and technology and the time and attention that it takes from them, away from them, for them, etc., etc. So, welcome, dear daughter of mine.
Thanks, Mom.
In an attempt to protect privacy, we're just going to call her my daughter. So I wondered, dear daughter, if you might tell me if you've noticed anything different this month in my use of screens.
Since you've stopped and deleted social media or all those apps that you're like really attracted to and you're like always have to answer on them, you've been a lot more like focusing on us and like make sure we have what we need instead of last month in May when you were just like looking on your phone a bunch and we had to remind you, Mom, get off your phone, Mom, get off your phone. And it was kind of like really annoying because it messed up like stuff we were gonna do and fun stuff we were gonna do. But then you were like, hold up, I have to do this thing on my phone. Hold up, blah, 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 name it, you name it.
Man, was it that bad? What does it feel like when you look across the room and I'm on my phone? What goes through your head?
When I see you looking on your phone across the room, I'm just like, what is that girl looking on her phone? Is it attractive? Should I be looking at it? And like, it makes me feel like that. I don't know what you're looking. I don't have eyes in your phone, so I can't see what you're doing. So whenever I see you, I'm like, what is she doing? She should be like playing songs with us or playing games or like singing with us. But then she's just looking on her phone for like 30 minutes, sitting quietly on the couch. Just like when we come up to her and we interrupt her, she's like, do you see that I'm doing this? And
oh boy, exposed. So you can't see what I'm looking at. So you often don't know what I'm doing when I'm on my phone.
No, I don't.
And sometimes I have to do it. Like sometimes, let's say I get a call from one of the camps, or I need to submit some paperwork for you, or sometimes there are things I just have to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are some things, like the social medias, that I don't have to do. When you see me looking at my phone a lot, does it feel like, oh, well, that's just what people do, so eventually I should probably get a phone and do that too? Or how does it make you feel about your own screen time?
It makes me feel a lot like, should I start doing that? And like, I feel like last month she started doing a time limit for social media, which is a really good thing because a lot of parents just say, oh, I'm a parent, I can have much screen time as I want, but that's not right. You should have the same screen time limit as your child's. Maybe not if they're like 7 down. Like if they're like 13 to like 9, you should have the same screen time, and then you should ignore your phones, put it on sleep, theater, or silent.
I'm glad you're sharing this with me. I don't think parents think about this all the time. I think we get sucked into our phone just in the same way that you might get sucked into an episode of, what's that show you like to watch? Ricky, Dicky, Licky, and Sicky or something?
You're saying you're wrong like you always do.
Whatever. Or the way your brothers get sucked into Fortnite. Parents just get sucked into their phones too. What do you think kids wished parents knew the kids felt about their parents using their phones?
I think a lot of kids, maybe they're scared to tell their feelings and what they're thinking inside is like about to burst, and they just want to say, Mom, you're ignoring me and I don't like it because you're on social media too much. I'm not sure if a lot of kids think that, but that's what most of the kids think, I'm guessing.
So you mentioned that you thought that parents should have as much screen time as they give their kids. So that would be like, maybe I could have an hour a day.
Maybe if it's like something really important, maybe an hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours, but I think they should probably do 1 hour a day.
And are there any other rules you think are good ones that maybe we have, or maybe that you've heard of other families having?
Maybe like no phones at the dinner table or stuff like that, because isn't dinner supposed to be that no phone, really fun dinner where we talk about stuff every day? But you don't want everybody to be saying, oh, I found this thing on my phone or something.
We should be looking at each
other. Yeah. It should be more like, oh, I was at school and I learned this division. Miss Diana taught me that. Miss Diana's my teacher.
Well, and I know we're talking about screens as if they're all bad, but we have some fun reasons to be looking at a screen this week, don't we? What are we getting on Friday? In fact, what are we getting the day this podcast comes out?
We're getting 2 kittens when this podcast comes out.
And all week we've been watching kitten videos, right? How to take care of your kitten, how to feed your kitten, how to bring a new kitten home. So screens aren't all bad, right?
No. Sometimes they're really fun, but sometimes you think they're like good for you, but like they're really, really bad for your brain to know all these things. Like, I'm gonna name some stuff I do that I maybe shouldn't do. As you know, my brothers are older than me, and they do a lot of Fortnite, and I watch them do Fortnite. And I don't think, honestly, I should be watching them do Fortnite because they could have guns in it and all that inappropriate stuff that I'm putting into my brain to tell my friends and act like it's so cool. Because that's what I sometimes do.
So can you, now that you know that, can you take yourself out of the room if they're playing Fortnite instead of sitting there and watching them?
Yeah, mostly I do. I usually go upstairs and do something else.
Cool. I think that's important. You noticed that, and then you did something about it. I like that. That's what I've been talking about on this podcast, how part of what we have to do is notice our own behaviors. What do you think social media is?
This is what I see it as. Just this app where you go and you get sucked in and ignore people and stuff.
What is Facebook? Why do you think people go on Facebook or Instagram?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Do you think you're going to want a phone so you can get on social media one day?
Honestly, it's, I always wanted a phone, but since I turned like 6 and 7, I know what social media is. And I'm like, I don't want to be that person who looks on it every day. So I think I'm probably going to get a phone when I'm about 20 to 22 or something. Because a lot of people get them when they're like in 7th grade. And I think that is way too young for a 13-year-old to get a phone. It's just, and they get like download all these junk on here because they think it's going to help them, and it honestly doesn't.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me, my dear daughter.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I've had an awesome time. Thanks.
Clearly, she's been primed by my talk of all this social media a bit. I'm curious if she still feels like this in 7 years when she's 14. But, well, I think she's picking up on my vibes about social media. I didn't prompt her for any of the questions. I didn't tell her what I was going to ask her. And I think it's interesting that she's noticing that kids as young as 7 notice our behaviors, which really is the whole reason this season began, because I really want to be a do as I say, not as I do, especially now in these times raising a daughter, wanting her to grow up confident, not comparing herself to others, not falling into the trap of all the things that get promoted and pushed and prioritized with social media and our use of it. So gotta look inward, and that is what I'm doing, and I think it is useful to see what the kids say. Still continuing on this season of joy week after week. I hope you are enjoying these episodes. In fact, this very week, the week that my interview with Steph Salvia came out, Steph is the executive director of Joy Engine. Hopefully you've had a chance to listen to that podcast. But just this week, I got the email that said that Art Blaze is back. And this immersive event that we talked about will transform McKinley Beach. And it'll be back on July 24th, August 7th, and August 21st. So get those in your calendar so you don't miss them. 4 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The beach will be lit up and so much fun. Can't wait to see that. Thank you, Steph, and your team at Joy Engine. Next week, I will be back on Wednesday. And despite the fact that Wednesday is July 2nd, I said I was giving myself a month, but friends, I'm going to stay off in July too because I'm just enjoying it that much. So please like and subscribe, share these episodes with your friends, and I'll be back next week with Tiffany Miller of FruitionMKE. And oh my goodness, if she is not the epitome of joy, I don't know who is. You're not going to want to miss that conversation. Out next Wednesday. Until then, Milwaukee.
Keep on dreaming.